If you could only buy one financial asset for the rest of your life, this should probably be it. What exactly is the S&P 500, and how does it work? Category: Investing. It tracks the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States. It covers about 80% of the American stock market's total value. It is market cap weighted, meaning companies like Apple and Microsoft have a bigger impact on it. Launched in 1957, it's widely considered the best single gauge of the U.S. economy. Subscribe to Educo Global for daily financial clarity. A stock price of $500 doesn't mean a company is bigger than a company with a $10 stock. Here's why. What is market capitalization and how is it calculated? Category: Investing. Market cap is the total value of a company's outstanding shares. The formula is simple: share price multiplied by the total number of outstanding shares. It classifies companies into mega, large, mid, and small cap categories. It shows the true economic size of a company, not just the single stock price. Follow Educo Global to analyze stocks like a professional. This is the exact moment a private corporation opens its financial doors to the entire public world. What is an IPO, or initial public offering? Category: Investing. An IPO is when a private company raises capital by issuing new shares to the public for the first time. It allows early institutional investors, founders, and venture capitalists to liquidate their shares and cash out. After the IPO launch, the company's stock begins actively trading on public exchanges like the NYSE or Nasdaq. While it marks a massive corporate milestone, IPOs are often highly volatile for retail day traders. Follow for more complex financial terms explained simply. If countries had a comprehensive yearly report card, this single metric would be their final grade. What exactly is GDP, or gross domestic product? Category: Macro. It measures the total monetary value of all finished goods and services produced within a country's borders. It is typically calculated and adjusted on a quarterly or annual basis. It serves as the ultimate macro health check for determining a nation's overall economic expansion or contraction. Save this video to build your baseline macroeconomic knowledge. Wall Street institutional investors don't just guess asset risk. They use an academic mathematical formula to price it. What is the Capital Asset Pricing Model, or CAPM? Category: Finance. CAPM calculates the precise expected financial return of an asset based on its systemic risk profile. The formula correlates the asset's volatility score, known as beta, against the broad market benchmark premium. It adds a baseline risk-free rate, usually derived from government bond yields, to establish a fair reward profile. Save this short to master institutional financial formulas. There is an invisible thief inside your bank account right now, steadily eroding your personal wealth. What is inflation and how does it directly affect your daily life? Category: Macro. Inflation is the gradual rate at which the general level of prices for everyday goods and services is rising. As inflation rises, the real purchasing power of your local currency declines, meaning a dollar buys fewer items. Central banks track this rate continuously and target a low, steady baseline to keep the broad economy moving. Subscribe to Educo Global to learn how to outrun inflation. Possessing a multi-million-dollar net worth doesn't mean a company has usable cash. Here is the difference. What is corporate liquidity, and why does it dictate financial survival? Category: Finance. Liquidity measures how quickly a corporate asset can be converted into physical cash without losing market value. Physical cash is the absolute most liquid asset, while large commercial real estate is considered highly illiquid. For corporations, maintaining high short-term liquidity ensures they can easily cover immediate debts and payroll. Drop a comment. Is your personal portfolio liquid enough? When traditional interest rate cuts fail, central banks deploy the ultimate unconventional monetary policy. What is quantitative easing, or QE? Category: Banking. QE is a monetary policy where a central bank purchases massive amounts of government bonds from commercial banks. This action floods the sovereign banking system with direct liquidity, keeping long-term interest rates low. By making borrowing incredibly cheap, it encourages businesses to invest and commercial banks to lend freely. Follow to master the mechanics of global central banking. Most people analyze daily market movements incorrectly because they confuse these two separate stock giants. What is the fundamental difference between the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq? Category: Markets. The Dow Jones Industrial Average tracks only 30 massive, blue-chip American companies across core industries. The Nasdaq Composite is heavily tech-focused, tracking over 3,000 corporate stocks, including giants like Nvidia and Apple. The Dow Index is strictly price-weighted, while the Nasdaq relies on a modern market cap-weighted architecture. Which index represents your portfolio? Drop a comment below. Are you investing in expensive promises of the future, or are you hunting for today's hidden bargains? What is the core difference between growth stocks and value stocks? Category: Investing. Growth stocks represent expanding companies expected to grow revenue significantly faster than the market average. Value stocks represent mature, established corporations currently trading for less than their intrinsic financial worth. Growth companies typically reinvest all profits into research, while value companies reward owners with steady dividends. Are you a growth or value investor? Let us know in the comments. Wall Street is completely obsessed with animal symbols. These two dictate whether you are accumulating wealth or losing it. What is the formal difference between a bull market and a bear market? Category: Markets. A bull market occurs when asset prices are steadily rising, driven by economic optimism and high consumer confidence. A bear market is defined as a sustained market price decline of 20% or more from recent all-time highs, driven by fear. The terms mirror how the animals attack. Bulls thrust their horns upward, while bears swipe their paws downward. We are inside a market cycle right now. Which animal do you think is winning? Do not waste your hard-earned capital on high investment management fees before understanding this critical design difference. What is the operational difference between an ETF and a mutual fund? Category: Investing. Exchange-traded funds, ETFs, are listed on stock exchanges and can be actively traded throughout the day like individual shares. Mutual funds can only be purchased or liquidated at a single price calculated at the exact close of the trading day. ETFs are generally passively managed and offer lower fee structures, while mutual funds are frequently actively managed. Check your current investment fee structures and follow for more portfolio tips. Two separate institutional powers control the global economy, utilizing completely different tools to steer growth. What is the functional difference between fiscal policy and monetary policy? Category: Macro. Monetary policy is strictly managed by a nation's independent central bank using interest rates and money supply limits. Fiscal policy is controlled by the legislative government using federal tax laws and public budget spending allocations. One manages the overall cost and availability of credit, while the other decides exactly where tax cash is deployed. Share this video with a friend studying political science or global macroeconomics. A multi-billion-dollar corporation can report massive sales numbers and still be dangerously close to structural bankruptcy. What is the operational difference between corporate revenue and net profit? Category: Finance. Revenue, known as the top line, is the total raw dollar volume generated from product sales before subtracting any costs. Net profit, known as the bottom line, is the actual cash left over after subtracting all operating expenses, debts, taxes, and interest. High revenue tracks strong consumer market demand, while net profit proves internal corporate cost efficiency. Follow Educo Global to master fundamental stock analysis like a professional fund manager. Most people spend their lives purchasing items they think are making them rich, but they are actually making them poor. What is the technical difference between an asset and a liability? Category: Finance. An asset is any economic resource you own that puts physical cash inflows into your pocket over time. A liability is any financial obligation or cost that actively draws physical cash out of your pocket over time. Stocks, bonds, and rental properties are classic assets. Car loans and credit balances are classic liabilities. Look around your living room. Are you collecting assets or liabilities? Comment below. Are you looking for explosive portfolio growth potential, or do you just want a legally guaranteed financial payday? What is the fundamental difference between buying stocks and purchasing bonds? Category: Investing. Buying a stock means purchasing a tiny sliver of corporate equity ownership, offering unlimited growth upside with elevated risk. Buying a bond means lending your capital to a government or corporation in exchange for fixed, legal interest payments. Stock investors profit via price appreciation and dividends, while bond investors rely on steady coupon payouts and principal return. What is your current strategic portfolio split? Let us know below. To know how the UK economy is performing, you don't look at the pound. You look here. What is the FTSE 100 index? Known as the FTSE, it includes the 100 largest companies on the London Stock Exchange. It represents roughly 80% of the UK's total market value. It launched in 1984 with a base level of 1,000 points. Major sectors: financial services, energy, and consumer goods. Save this short for your next macroeconomics test. This famous Asian stock index took over 30 years to break past its own historic 1989 asset bubble peak. What represents the Nikkei 225 index in Japan? Category: Markets. The Nikkei 225 is the premier stock market index tracking the absolute top blue-chip corporations on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. It features 225 leading Japanese companies across technology, automotive, and manufacturing sectors, like Toyota and Sony. Unlike modern cap-weighted indices, it utilizes a price-weighted system, matching the architecture of the Dow Jones. Follow Educo Global to master international financial markets simply. When the absolute biggest economic powerhouse in Europe moves, it moves through these specific corporate giants. What is the German DAX Index? Category: Markets. The DAX tracks the 40 largest and most highly liquid corporations trading on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. It includes global manufacturing and industrial powerhouses like SAP, Siemens, BMW, and Allianz. Unlike many indexes, it is uniquely calculated as a performance index, meaning it assumes all corporate dividends are automatically reinvested. What is your favorite European corporation? Let us know in the comments below. These 3 physical geographic locations control where trillions of institutional dollars migrate every single second. What are the 3 largest stock exchanges in the world? Category: Markets. Number 1. The New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, the absolute largest marketplace by total equity market capitalization. Number 2. The Nasdaq, the tech-heavy American titan also located in New York City. Number 3. The Tokyo Stock Exchange, functioning as the premier financial capital hub of the Asian continent. Hit that subscribe button for daily institutional market breakdowns.